From the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report.
Closing in on... Hey, pop my mic up.
Your mic's on?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I hear you.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
You're good. You're having some earbud problems over there.
No.
It's all right. I was having some issues over here.
Closing in on issue number 100.
Show number 96 for Thursday, August 15th. On the show tonight, we're going to be talking to Attica Fremont Championship Series Sprint Series point leader in the 305 class, Jamie Miller. He's second in points at both Attica and Fremont as well. We'll also be talking to Chris Mize over there at Sandusky Speedway with an update for the Dirty 30 coming up on October 3rd.
And I've got a couple of questions for him.
And some answers, too.
And he'll be happy to know that,
Coming at you live on Facebook as well as YouTube, Periscope, and Twitter. Make sure to listen to us as well on demand, iHeartRadio, Google Play, iTunes, wherever.
You mean people could watch us live tonight and then watch us again during the week?
Well, if they're listening on iHeartRadio or iTunes or Google Play or whatever podcasting platform, it's probably not live, but they should make plans to watch next week.
They could watch
Thursdays at 7. That's when we record it live.
They could watch us several times.
I think we got Chris here. Is this Chris?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, hold on a second. We're not done yet.
Almost.
I'm going to pot you down. So you can keep talking, but we're not going to hear you.
That's fine.
See, look, I just potted him down.
That's cruel.
Actually, we are ready for him. I just wanted to give him crap. Sorry. How's it going? Chris Mize, Sandusky Speedway. How are you?
How's it going, gentlemen?
Pretty good.
I thought he was not going to talk. Get even with you, Scott.
I hung up. That'd be better yet.
So you got some details ironed out for our Hammer Down Racing Report Dirty 30 coming up October 3rd at Sandusky Speedway. We've been talking about it pretty much all summer now, every show. We're running.
Yeah, we got the gate times up. We got the prices up. We also got the purses all up. Don't ask me what all them are. You'll have to go to your page, our page. Everything's posted, I know, on Sandusky Speedway's Facebook page. We put all that up, I believe, the other day, Monday. I think it might have been Monday, Tuesday. And I believe we sent it over to you. You put it up, didn't you, Scott?
Yep. It's if you go to hammerdownracingreport.com, I have a page set up, and we're looking October 3rd. Gates are going to open at 3 o'clock, hot laps at 4:30. There's going to be an autograph session at 6:30, and racing will start at 7:30. We're going to do our live Hammer Down Racing Report from the track at 5:30. So there's a lot of times there to look at. Again, we have it all posted.
A lot of times. Hell, I can't even remember what I did an hour ago sometimes. I tell you, there's been a lot of talk. I mean, a lot of people in this area have been asking about it as it's getting closer, Mostly I got the Must-See 30 coming up next Sunday, and then we got the Pops Clinic Memorial Saturday with the Modifieds, but there's been a lot of talk about it coming up. It's something new to this area. It's something new, and honestly, I think this is going to be a great race.
Just a quick recap for maybe those of you that have not heard us talking about the Dirty 30. We're going to be running dirt late model rules on the asphalt track at Sandusky Speedway. There's also going to be a class of the Fremont trucks. And
Scott, one of the questions I've been asked a lot about the late models is this an outlaw show with sideboards? Absolutely not. This is a straight out of the box UMP dirt car late model body rules.
It'll be the same late models you see weekly at Oakshade, over at Attica, Eldora.
Yeah, Mr. Cook, I believe he will be teching. Is that what I got?
Absolutely. He'll have a couple of his helpers along with him, so be prepared for that.
Yeah, Mr. Cook. See, that's an honor to me because I remember, Jerry, Terry back in the late model.
Absolutely.
It's when Terry was running late model here in Toledo, Jerry was running here in Toledo, and it's just an honor to have him on board with this.
Do you remember at all when Harold was racing?
Nah, I'm not that old.
Oh, come on.
Very, very, very it was a little bit, when I was coming into it as a young
Sure, I
kid.
understand.
I'm not saying you probably drove with them, didn't you? You guys started out together.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Actually, we started out in late models together, and Harold's first foray into circle track racing was with the late models, and I ran figure 8 and street stock, Toledo, and Flat Rock for a couple of years before that.
Harold was on our show last week, so you can listen to last week's episode too.
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
did. Well, no, I'm pretty. The little things, I guess, get me all wound up and excited, and him being here got me. I was happy about that.
Well, very good. He can sign autographs too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we also we established some general admission prices for the event as well. Do you want to go over that? Do you remember? I got it in front of me. If not,
If you can read them off, that'd be great.
$15 general admission, very fair. Seniors and military with proper ID get in for $10. Kids 5 to 12 is $5, and under 5 free. Pit pass is $30, and kids 8 and under get into the pits for free. Is that right?
Yeah, and I feel that's real fair, and I know there's going to be somebody say, why 8 and under? Because when they're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, they're running around on their own. Anybody that's normally 8 and under, stick with mom. And for a family to come, and we all know this become a family, there's a lot of families that come to it. It's one of the last things, in my opinion, that still is a family sport. And, for mom and dad to come in their motorhome, let's say, or whatever, and to go in a pit, with a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 6, 7-year-old, they're going to keep a close eye on them. I don't think it's fair to them that they have to pay $30 for a 2-year-old or someone like that. Plus, in my past experiences, it's caused some havoc. With mom has to go in the grandstands and doesn't. It's just easier to say 8 and under. There you go.
Well, anymore, kids over 8 are probably on the racetrack.
And that's where I'm at. Nowadays at 10 years old, they're running around doing stuff, and hell, 11, 12 years old, some of them are racing in the front wheel drives.
Absolutely.
And so, and I feel our pricing is fair through the front gate, actually, for this kind of show. The whole object is we have a cavalcade coming up that Saturday and Sunday, and the whole object is you don't want to burn people out with, oh my God, it costs this much for the whole weekend. I might skip that one, or I might only go to that one. So you want to be fair with the pricing, and our military, we give them a $5 discount. We probably should have, anybody that shows a military ID, we should probably just let them in for the simple fact that they guard our rights and protect our rights. But,
as long as they promise to buy a hot dog.
As long as they buy a hot dog. Now remember, this is the least event. Kevin gets that hot dog money.
Oh, man.
In addition to the late models, as I started mentioning earlier, it's going to be the Fremont trucks and Oakshade bombers with 2-barrel carburetor rule, and also the front-wheel drive class as well. And that's 800 to win. That's going to be dirt versus asphalt cars.
Right, and I anticipate. I tell you what, I think we'll have way over 20 cars. I mean,
I do too.
I've had some messages come in. Some of these asphalt guys, because we're running a Midwest Compact Tour on Saturday and Sunday with our cavalcade, and a lot of these guys are coming in Thursday to run this show too. Go for the 800 to win.
And the bombers and trucks are still a 400. I know you had mentioned something that maybe that would go up, but is that still 400 win?
We're looking. I tell you what, Scott, just for you, we're looking for a sponsor so we can up that, and get that up there around 7. It'd be nice to get that win up to about 700-800.
It would be nice. So if there is any sponsors out there that may want to help out with that, how can they get in touch with you?
They can call me or Doug Dockey. Go to Sandusky Speedway Facebook page is the best way to get a hold of us, and send that page a message, and me or Doug pick that up right away, and we'll be back in contact with you. Or you can go to our website, SanduskySpeedway.com, and off to the right there, I think it's off to the right, you'll see, unfortunately, see my picture with my phone number underneath. You call my phone. I don't always answer, but if you leave a message, I will call you back or send me a text if I don't answer, and I'll get back to you within the hour normally if I can.
And I got your name and number also posted on the Dirty 30 page at hammerdownracingreport.com, so that information is on there as well.
One more thing, Chris. I've been getting phone calls and requests that we come up with something for the modifieds.
I tell you what, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about that. It was brought up in a chat earlier. They find a sponsor to pay their own purse. You know, and I tell you what, stranger things have happened. We've taken a different outlook on some things, a different business plan, so to speak, with what we're doing on our shows here at Sandusky, and I've kind of threw that out there. You know, I'll put up a small portion, and they have to get sponsorship for the rest. I'll entertain any idea like that if they want to run.
All right.
You know, it comes down, and I'm telling you, the last time we did this was Thursday High Miler with our street stocks. We put up just a portion, so if you want to run, because our budget's at our budget, you know, for dollar night, and if you want to run, raise, and they raised right around $4,200 in 3 weeks.
Wow.
So, I mean, if these guys are serious about wanting to run, they bring 10, 12, 14 or more cars. Me and Doug will talk. We'll throw up X amount of money that makes sense to the business plan of this. And if they want to bring sponsorship and they take care of all that themselves, they keep the money. We don't touch that money. We just give them one lump sum that we promised. And hell yeah, I'll run them.
So you modified guys get to work. I know that there are several of you folks that have expressed an interest. And the Oakshade Sportsman cars, really, they're late models on narrow tires. So those guys have approached me too. And quite honestly, if they just put on late model tires and wheels, they can come run with us 1,200 to win.
Yeah, but they can only run one or the other.
Right.
Night. You know, we've had that where we've led them in different shows, you know, in different divisions. Okay, you know, you pay another entry fee to the back gate or whatever, you can run, you know, another pit pass you can run with that division too. I really don't want to get into that. I don't think you guys either.
Nope, absolutely, you're right.
Yeah, that's what you're going to run. I mean, and I tell you, honestly, Ron, when you come up with this idea and you know, approach me on it, I was excited, and I'm getting more excited because, you know,
I thought this was your idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't throw all that back at me. That was your idea.
I thought you brought this up from Georgia.
No, what it was, I tell you, Ron called me one day, hey, need some earners. I'm not going down there in July, you know, and was chatting on a thing, and I said, well, why don't we do it? You know, let's do this, yeah. But, you know, the other day, I did send a text. Scott, you thought I was fibbing, I think. I sent a text to Kenny Wallace because I was wanting, you know, he's in it.
Right.
He ran a hot shoe up at it's Whitmer. I don't know if it's called Whitmer anymore, I think, but the Hot Shoe 100, and you know, he had that speech on Facebook that was great about Dale Earnhardt telling him about the, you know, these weekly races, you know, the short track races. But I thought, you know, I'm gonna try to reach out. I got a cell number, and I sent him a text, and I figured, well, I'll get a text back, you know, one way or the other. You know, he took time out of his day, and I really respect this, and became a bigger. He called me and talked to me for, I don't know, 8-10 minutes. You know, about he's going to Devil's Bowl Speedway that weekend. He can't make it. He thinks it's a great idea, you know, for the North. He knows that they've done it in the South, but he thinks it's a great idea up North here. But, you know, just for him to call and acknowledge that, he didn't have to do that. He's a busy man, and I thought that was great of him. And you know, we discussed short track racing on asphalt for a second, and the state it's in. And you know, I'm going to tell you guys, and I won't take much more of your time up. I know you got a show, and I'm out at the racetrack. I got to finish some grading on a dozer. But
you put dirt on the place?
You wish. No, remove the dirt pile. I got to finish grading it out. But,
okay.
You know, in the shape that short track asphalt short tracks are in right now, if we don't try different things like this, we might not survive, and how the heck do we know if it's going to work if we don't try it? And so this is a great opportunity for all of us, in my opinion. I don't want to say first annual because that's wrong. Inaugural, Dirty 30, Hammer Down Racing Report, Dirty 30, sponsored by Hand Jobs Nail Salon.
Love it.
I really think this is going to go over well, and this could be something big coming to the future, an annual deal.
Well, since we couldn't get Kenny Wallace, don't forget Kenny Schrader probably has a late model, too.
And whatever happened, wasn't Michael Waltrip running a Vors Compact Series race or something?
He ran a Vors Compact race down at Shady Bull Speedway, Rick Young. Great guy. I haven't tried to get in touch with him. I haven't heard any more about you guys that says something about Matt Crafton. And I tell you what, Mr. Cook should reach out to his son Terry and get him in a late model.
There we go.
He's got some experience.
Yeah, he's got a few laps there, too.
Yeah, Terry was a fan favorite at Sandusky Speedway years back.
For a lot of years.
Yes, and it'd be great. I'd just be curious to see if he still got it.
Has he ever driven a dirt late model, though?
I don't know. I know Jerry has.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sure Terry probably has. Hell, he's probably drove just about everything, up through the years. So, he's one of them. He used to be one of them that, if he had tricycles racing out there and he had a chance, he'd jump on a tricycle and race it,
All right, Chris, we got to get going here, but we're definitely looking forward to the Dirty 30 coming up at Sandusky Speedway Thursday, October 3rd. It's kicking off the Cavalcade weekend there.
And we'll certainly talk to Chris more as we get a little bit closer.
Yeah, and if there's an update on the modifieds or anything, you let me know. If any modified drivers out there want to try and put something together, get with Chris. And
get with me.
Get with Ron. He'll get with me, and I'll pointing you in the right direction.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for everything you do for racing in general.
Hey, thanks, you,
Chris.
All right, have a good night.
You too. It's Chris Mize, race director over there at Sandusky Speedway, and also putting on this special show for us, the Dirty 30. And speaking of which, before we get to Jamie Miller here, who we're going to call in just a couple minutes, got some updated folks for our roll call for the Dirty 30. James Goring to Fremont, Ohio, has been added in the trucks. And I just got another one here. Alan White out of Sandusky, also a Fremont truck.
Very good.
So a couple more. So our mid class is definitely growing by leaps and bounds. I think that's the biggest class.
And I know for a fact that Chris is working on some flyers for us, and we'll be handing those out at a few of the area racetracks. So we'll get the word out. And
also, we'll be doing our show that night from the track live, so come out and say hi. We're going to do it earlier because obviously we're going to be racing at 7:30. So
hopefully
we'll be doing the show about 5:30 live from Sandusky Speedway on October 3rd. So that'll be cool. We'll talk to the different racers out there, and it'll be after hot laps, so they'll have a few laps on the track.
Running around the pits like crazy.
Yeah. Going, what do I do? How do I make my car work on asphalt? So, yeah, that'll be cool. Ron Miller Race Cars, your official sponsor of the Hammer Down Racing Report. Make sure to give Ron a call, 734-856-7223. He's got race cars, parts, safety equipment, everything a racer needs. Gift cards.
Yeah.
You fixed my car.
Scott,
it moved, although
just came across my desk this morning. Only for the next 2 weeks, if you're interested in a seat, we have a blowout sale on Ultra Shield containment seats. Starting at about $380 up to about $540. So if you need a containment seat, give us a call.
Is that like the one I have?
Yes, sir. I think yours is an Ultra Shield, and
it might be.
They work really well.
Oh, that's right. I got dial 9. I forgot we got a new phone system. My bad.
Oh, Scott.
What other good deals you got?
Darn rookies. Well, that's it, man.
That's it.
That was a blowout deal. It really was.
Nothing else.
Well, obviously, we have all the bomber tires for Oakshade.
Yeah, I needed a new one of those, too.
Yep.
Enjoy the Verizon ringback tone while your party is reached.
Ooh. There we go. Some music there. Hey, is this Jamie?
Yeah.
Jamie, it's Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, Hammer Down Racing Report. How's it going?
It's going.
All right. We reach you at a bad time. You good?
Nope, we're good.
All right. Now you're leading the points in the Attica Fremont Championship Series in the 305s. Starting this series off, were you going for that championship at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, when we started this year, we was kind of planning on trying to get the new series point championship, and we've been running good at all them races, so hopefully we can finish up the year that way.
And you're sitting second in the points at both Attica and Fremont. So I'm guessing you're trying to get the championships at both of those tracks as well.
Yeah, the goal is always to try to get championships. And
Are you in striking distance?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah. I think we're close. We're hanging around.
Now, do you think you have enough races left to get it?
If we keep running the way we have been, I think we'll be right there. It's one of them deals where you got to finish up front every week and try to be there at the end, and that's what we've been trying to do. We've had a few off nights, but fortunately we've had more good nights than bad.
24 points behind Weaver at Attica, and you're just 12 behind Ivy at Fremont there. So,
boy, those guys are rookies, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they just started this year.
Absolutely. So how did you get started in racing? Give us a little background on Jamie Miller.
Oh, my dad raced sprint cars when I was, before I was born, and then when I was born, and I kind of grew up around it with both of my uncles racing and my dad, and it just kind of fell into my lap. A good friend of mine bought a car, Ron Kimball from Fostoria, and said, "Hey, you want to try driving this thing?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do my best."
Was it a sprint car?
Yeah, it was a 305 Sprint in 2000.
Okay. Have you you've run other things than just the 305s, though, haven't you?
Yeah, if it's got four wheels and supposed to turn left, I'll get in.
Have you ever run asphalt?
No, just in the go-kart days. I was never very good at it.
Okay. Any track championships that you've earned?
Yeah, I got an Attica championship in 05, and then last year we won the Fast Series championship between Attica, Fremont, Lima, Mansfield, and wherever else we went.
Okay. In between Fremont and Attica, do you have a favorite track?
Not really. I like going both places. They both give you different problems, different issues you got to work through, and I enjoy the challenge, and we have fun whenever we race. So, that's kind of what we're out here doing, just trying to have fun.
Other than Attica or Fremont, you've run other tracks. Is Attica or Fremont one of your favorite, or is there another track that you've run that is your favorite, and why?
Oh, I've always liked going down to KC, or it's called Atomic now. I've always liked that place. Always been really fast in racing.
Do you got any wins down there?
Yeah, I've got a few.
That would make me like that track too.
I've got more up here than I do down there, but it was always fun.
Okay. So when and where did you get your first win?
Fremont in 2001.
In a 305?
In a 305, yep.
Describe that race to us. Was it? Did you lead the whole way, or was it one of those last lap passes?
No, it was. I don't remember exactly. I remember taking the lead and then about losing the lead to Brown Scott, and we kind of battled it out for the last 5 laps or so, and I might have chopped him a little bit, but I wanted to win.
Sure. Now the 305s have changed a lot through the years. Was it better racing, do you feel, back when they were more restricted, or do you like where we're at now?
I think it's not really a lot different. The motors make a little bit more power than they did when I started, and not a huge difference. The cars are pretty much the same, and everything's going good. They've been teching at Attica and trying to keep everybody on a level playing field, and it's been working out pretty good.
Are there any other racers that you kind of look up to or idolize, or maybe did at the beginning of your career?
Oh, yeah, there was a few. I've always when I first started racing, and before I even raced, obviously my dad, I looked up to him as a kid, and then when I started going more, I always liked to watch Paul Weaver and rooted for him when I was little, and Bobby Teeple and local guys from Paul Story, Tom Basinger, and just guys that were, from the same area as I was. I kind of knew them, and it was just cool to see somebody that was from the same hometown as you or your family and get to watch them race.
And then you got to race with them.
Yeah, I did with a few of them, and it's always fun. I mean, me and Paul and John, we all have a good time when we're at the races, associating with each other.
Have you had any bad crashes?
Oh yeah, there's been a few.
What would be the worst in your opinion?
The worst was a non-wing crash at Fremont, and I don't really remember what year it was. It was in my car, and we about put her out of the park.
Those get expensive.
Yeah, there's nothing on them things cheap when you wreck
Sure.
them. I mean, it's going to cost you.
You were okay?
What's that?
I say you were okay, no bad injuries?
Oh, yeah, I was a little dazed, but, we walked away from it, nothing horrible.
So what do you do when you're not racing and not working on the race car?
Work.
What kind of work do you do?
I have two businesses, and they keep me busy all the time.
Okay. Now, do you own your own car, or do you drive for someone else?
Nope, I drive for Ryan French Racing out of Sam over by Attica.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long have you been driving for them?
This is my second year with them.
Let's hear about your sponsors, the people that you need to thank.
Gotta thank Ryan French for, he called me for, a year or so before that I ever got in that car trying to get me to get in it, and I did. They give me the best equipment they can, and we make do with what we got, and we usually run good. Phil Rister, Paul Story Mod Shop, Crown Battery, Napa of Attica, Avon by Angie. I mean, every little sponsor on that car helps a ton. You got York Carpet, Brad's Barbecue in Bellevue. Oh, there's a lot of them. I'm sure I'm missing some, but everybody knows that every little bit helps.
Absolutely. What do you think about this new Attica Fremont Championship Series that Dwayne Hancock put together?
So far, we're loving it. I mean, everything's going smooth and good. And it's good that somebody was able to jump in and put something together to replace the Fast Series, and so far, so good.
And is it bigger than you would have thought at the beginning of the season? Because it sounds like this is a pretty huge deal.
Yeah, it took off. Everybody kind of welcomely opened it. Coming into it, and it's been going good for everybody. I've heard no complaints throughout the pits, and they're doing a ton of giveaways. Before the races, giving tires away and coupons and gift certificates and whatever else, and everything's been really good with the whole thing.
Seems like sponsors were kind of coming out of the woodwork to Dwayne to get on board this thing. So, what's other than, I guess there's two more races left in the Attica Fremont Championship Series. You got a race tomorrow night at Attica, right?
Yep.
And are you running the fair race on Tuesday at Fremont?
Yeah, we'll be at the fair race as well.
How cool is the fair race? I've never been to the fair race. Is that kind of a special deal?
Yeah, it's kind of back to grassroots racing when you used to see races at the fair all the time, and kind of went away for a while, and they brought it back to Fremont, and it's a good time. You get a lot of people that are watching it, and a lot of fair goers that's maybe never been to a race, get to see some wing sprint cars go around the Speedway.
And they have you pitted actually somewhere different than where you guys are used to pitting, right?
Yeah, they put all the cars in the infield, so people get to see, kind of look down and see what's going on with the cars during the, when they're not on the track.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
And I believe they're just running the 305s in some vintage cars.
Yep.
So.
Yep, that's
excellent. So for the rest of the season, are you just sticking around Attica and Fremont? You running anywhere else?
Yeah, as of right now, and I might get in my late model and go to a couple late model races if I get time and a chance.
I know a race coming up October 3rd where you could race.
Yeah.
The Hammer Down Racing Report Dirty 30 at Sandusky Speedway.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time with a pretty decent payoff.
Yeah, we'll have to throw that name in the hat and see if I end up going somewhere with it.
I'm sure there's not a lot of competition for that night, so it should be.
Yeah, and Attica and Fremont will be. Hey, look, Fremont's on TV right now.
Yeah, I
just
saw
looked
that.
Up. You might be on TV. Were you in Heat 3?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is this past weekend or not. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted. I saw race cars. There was
That's
like
BCSN?
a squirrel. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So you're just going to stick around Attica and Fremont, and then where would you run the late model?
I'm not sure. I know that the guy that owns that I run for, they like to go down south a lot into West Virginia and stuff, maybe up to Oakshade.
Okay, well that's cool.
Oh, we sure like to see you there.
It's a little closer than West Virginia, at least.
Right. It's the wrong surface.
What's that?
It's the wrong surface for me.
Oh, okay.
I prefer the dirt.
It's dirt, sort of.
Yeah.
Dirt.
What you pit?
Oh, I gotcha. Well, there's some paved places.
Yeah.
Anyway, so are you all set for tomorrow night then?
Yeah, the car's ready to go. I just talked to Ryan actually a couple hours ago, and we'll be at Attica tomorrow night.
Okay, and that's a 1,000 to win show for the Attica Fremont Championship Series, I do believe.
Yep.
And then the last, and I forgot to write down. Do you know when the last AFCS race is at Fremont?
I don't know the date exactly.
I want to say it's like toward the beginning of September. I know there's just
that's what I'm thinking.
You just have the two races left, one at Attica and one at Fremont. And I didn't write I forgot to write down how big a lead do you have? Do you know, going into these final two races?
I'm not real sure, but I think it's around 30 points.
Okay.
So you're fairly comfortable.
I wouldn't say comfortable. It don't take somebody to gain on you.
So how do you approach these last two races? Are you going to kind of take it easy and be conservative, or are you just going to?
No, we're going there. I mean, we're going to win race. We're going to win the race. I mean, that's it. We're there to win.
That's a true racer.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend and Tuesday at Fremont and on your bid there to win the championships at both tracks and the Attica Fremont Championships. If you get all three, you got the trifecta. How cool would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll be the first driver to do that.
All right, man. We wish you luck and appreciate the time.
All right, I appreciate it.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Jamie Miller, Attica Fremont Championship Series point leader in the 305s. Also second in the points in pretty competitive battles at both Attica and Fremont going into the final stretch. Just a few more weeks at both tracks, I do believe.
Yeah, a lot of tracks are winding down.
Yeah. So we got to all those calls, and I forgot to do this. We had some breaking news before we came on. No, I'm fading down the wrong one. No wonder it's not getting any quieter. Breaking news shortly before we came on. Actually, there's a couple breaking news things. But the big one was Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his wife were involved in a plane crash. Actually, I guess the plane was taking off down in Tennessee, and it skidded off the runway and burst into flames.
I saw a couple of video clips, Scott, and it was definitely in flames.
They were out of it, I believe,
Yeah.
by the time you saw the video, or they had video
Right.
of it. But I guess they were taken to the hospital, but they were okay for the most part.
Ish.
They were taken to the hospital, and they weren't in bad shape. But I haven't seen an update on that. But pretty scary stuff, though.
Yeah.
Crazy. Also, we got some more breaking news. See you here.
Oh, come on, Scott.
Haley Deegan was running at Bristol right now in the K&N East race.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I turned it off, but she was up in the running top 5, running pretty good.
And
I'm guessing that race is probably over by about.
Bristol's probably her kind of racetrack where you can
short track and bump them out of the way.
Use the front bumper, absolutely.
And she was doing that the first 100 laps that I was watching before we came on the air here. Well, we got so far ahead here. Let's back up and go over our racing roundup from last weekend. Last weekend's action at Lima Land Motorsports Park. They are done for the year now.
Done. It just doesn't seem right.
Well, yeah. Sean Dancer was the winner of the NRA 360 Sprint Invitational and also King of the Quarter Mile. Tony Anderson won the UMP Mod Invitational, and Todd Sherman won the King of the Quarter Mile race in the mods. Casey Barr won his first Thunderstock feature, and Jordan Conover won the King of the Quarter Mile in the Thunderstocks, and that will complete the Lima Land racing season, which had a hard time getting started.
Right.
They only raced 2 months.
Right. Well, they've got a good field of modifieds there. I wonder if they might be looking for something to do on October 3rd.
Yeah, Hammer Down
You
Racing.
see how that worked right in there, Scott? Yeah.
Flat Rock Speedway had some good actually, pretty much everybody was in action last weekend because the weather was nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of the weather, I got a update from Ryan Weekman. He's back from vacation, so we'll have
Wonderful.
a weekend weather pit stop coming up here shortly. Nick Shanks held off Scott Selmy and Greg Stude to win the
Stude.
Street Stock A main. You took a deep breath. I thought that something was going on over there.
No, not yet.
Okay. Wilburn Parks was the Street Stock B main winner. Jeremy Vanderhoof was the figure 8 winner, and Ethan Stadnuchek
There you go.
won the 250 lap enduro race. Carl Smith won the Lake Erie Stock feature at Sandusky Speedway on Saturday night. Dylan Watson was the Renegade feature winner. Colton Fowler won the beginner stocks. At Fremont, it was a sweep of all former Hammer Down Racing Report guests winning. We forgot to tell Jamie he's probably going to win this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Since we had him on.
I hope he's watching because now he knows.
Cap Henry won his second 410 sprint feature in a row. John Ivey also got his second feature win in a row in the 305s. And Sean Valeni won yet another dirt truck feature. I wonder if we'll see him at the Dirty 30 at Sandusky
I would hope so.
Be interesting. Oakshade Raceway had sprint car racing return for the first time since 2001.
That was a good show, Scott. It really was.
28 Boss Buckeye Outlaw Sprint Series
non-wing sprints.
Non-wing sprints were there. Dallas Hewitt out of Troy, Ohio, was the feature winner.
Little homework there. He is Jack Hewitt's nephew. They're both from Troy, Ohio, and he comes by it naturally.
Well, he's got a name like Hewitt. That'll do it.
And he's from And he's from Troy, Ohio.
Rusty Schlenk racked up a career win number 203 in the late model feature. He's still riding that high after being on the show a few weeks back, racking up the wins. Jerry Signer scored his third feature win of the season in the sportsman class.
Jerry Signer's been
recently.
Really strong lately.
He said second in points, I do believe,
right,
to Mike Jessen. So there's a point battle there going into championship night, which I think is the second or third weekend in September.
I think it's the third.
Is it? Okay, we'll go with that. Terry Rushlow earned the Bomber A main win. It was, I believe, his fifth of the season. And Shane Estes won his very first ever Bomber B main. He was pretty excited there in Victory Lane. It's pretty
Yes,
cool.
he was.
Toledo Speedway was in action with the 60th anniversary celebration. ARCA Gold Cup late model, ARCA Gold Cup main event late model feature was won by Brian Bergaker. And they had a pretty spectacular wreck. Did you see?
They did. Bobby Michalogic.
His throttle stuck, I guess, going into turn one.
First lap.
Was that the first lap?
Yeah.
And that messed up his car a little bit.
Yes. The video of that, and there's a couple of good ones, have been making the way around YouTube. And if you haven't seen it, look at Toledo Speedway Crash 2019, and that's what'll pop up.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, too, with all the foam, the styrofoam barrier just kind of exploding. It looks like it's snowing.
Yeah, well, you
didn't
do the car any good.
No.
But the nice thing about those barriers, they don't save the car, but they're
save
good.
the driver.
They save the driver.
And that's the important part. Cars can be fixed.
Yeah, unless you're a car owner, then.
Well, then it's all about the green. Paul Martell who just returned from active duty, led all 20 laps of the factory stock feature on Saturday night at Toledo Speedway.
That was on BCSN. That was a fun race to watch.
I did not see that. I forgot. There's a race. I keep getting distracted now. Ron Allen just beat out Mike Young by inches in the late model sportsman feature, and Dennis Wisman Jr. Held off his dad to win the figure 8 feature there.
That late model sportsman race again was a spectacular race.
Was that was the one? Yeah, he won by inches.
Oh yeah. And Howard Kelly Jr. again, another bad wreck at Toledo Speedway last weekend. Didn't do his car any good.
Kyle Worley was the winner of the street stock feature. Is his car at your shop or something? Or
no.
Is he getting parts from you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I just.
But he could.
Absolutely, I gladly sell Howard parts.
Chris Madden won his second race in a row and his first Lucas Oil feature in Bloomquist's backup car on Thursday's North-South shootout at Florence Speedway. He continued his winning streak, Madden that is, making it 3 wins in a row after winning Saturday's North-South 100. So pretty good.
That paid quite nicely.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend for Chris Madden.
Well, I don't know how much of that goes to Bloomquist, but yeah. Next up for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series is the 27th Annual Comp Cam's Topless 100, and that's tonight, actually, through Saturday at Batesville Motor Speedway in Arkansas. And that doesn't mean they're driving with their tops off, like shirts, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just like our topless.
That's right. That's right. You take the roof off of your car.
The car is topless, not the drivers.
Fans are optional.
Okay. I'm not sure. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Series action. David Gravel held off Brad Sweet to win on Thursday's qualifying night of the 59th Knoxville Nationals. Kerry Madsen led all 25 laps of Friday's Hard Knocks night to lock himself into Saturday's Nationals, and then Gravel won Saturday's $150,000 feature over Logan Schuchart and Darren Pittman. So, pretty big deal there.
Yeah.
Knoxville Nationals. Coming up for the World of Outlaws sprints, River City Speedway in North Dakota tomorrow night, and then Red River Valley Speedway, also in North Dakota, on Saturday. World of Outlaw Morton Buildings Late Model Series action featured Jonathan Davenport leading all 30 laps to win Night 1 of the World of Outlaw Morton Buildings Late Model Series USA Nationals at Cedar Lake Speedway last Thursday night. Tyler Erb won the Dash event on Friday and earned the pole for Saturday's 50,000 USA Nationals main event. And
come on, Scott.
I think I left that. This is from last week. This is old news.
Oh, fine.
Never mind.
Forgot it.
We forgot to update that part or take that out. So. Gander Outdoor Truck Series action. The Corrigan Oil 200 was won by Austin Hill. It was the last race of the regular season for those guys.
Right.
That was at MIS this past weekend. Playoffs start tonight, 8:30 at Bristol. That race will be on Fox Sports 1. So you got about 45 minutes until that race starts, unless you're listening to us on the podcast. Then you probably missed it by now. Austin Cedric started on the pole of the Xfinity Series B&L Transport 170 at Mid-Ohio, picked up the win on Saturday. The Xfinity's next series race is at Bristol tomorrow night, 7:30. Actually, all 3 NASCAR Top Series is at Bristol this weekend. Kevin Harvick won a fuel mileage race on Sunday at Michigan International Speedway. And like I said, they're going to Cup Series at Bristol Saturday night, 7:30. That race will be on NBCSN.
Did you catch any of the controversy about both of Childress's cars being disqualified?
That was the first thing on my racing news here.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Now, did you...
Austin Dillon and teammate Daniel Hemrick's qualifying times were disallowed after NASCAR ruled their alternators were in violation of the rules. They did not function because there was no belt on.
No.
That's what I read.
No.
So they both started at the back of Sunday's Cup race.
All of the teams are allowed to take the belts off to qualify.
Correct.
But
their alternator has to run.
But the alternator has to work.
But it doesn't work without the belt.
Which is really stupid.
So you got 2 rules.
Now, Richard Childress said that, did you folks check...
everybody else's?
No, did you check my alternators at 10,000 RPM, which is where they have to work while we're racing? And, of course, NASCAR said no. So it's crazy. Why would they test an alternator to see if it worked if you don't have to have the belt on to qualify?
But it has to be working.
No, it didn't have to be working because NASCAR
But you don't
allows
need the belt.
But you can take the belt off to qualify.
But maybe they could have like a little battery-operated motor that turns the alternator instead of the belt.
It's another stupid NASCAR rule. They've struck again.
Well, it's two rules that don't really mesh together.
No, not a bit.
So
your alternator has to work, but you don't have to have a belt on it.
I didn't follow up on that. Do you know if they tried to fight that? If they appealed?
You know, I think they were going to, and I don't know how it turned out, but the biggest loss is the crew chiefs for a couple of weeks.
That's right, I forgot that. And they had to start at the back, and there's nothing that can fix that
10
now.
championship points.
Yeah.
And both of those cars were involved in a wreck about halfway through the race, took them out.
I didn't watch much of the race. I think I just watched the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a good race at
Ish.
It's always a fuel mileage race at MIS.
Right.
David Reagan announced yesterday that he's stepping away, yesterday being Wednesday. I forgot people could be listening to this Saturday, and yesterday be Friday to them.
Right.
So I should probably specify what day I'm talking about. He announced Wednesday that he's stepping away from full-time NASCAR competition at the end of this season after 13 years of racing in the Cup Series. Reagan began competing in NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series racing in 2007 with Roush Fenway Racing.
Got anything on Matt DiBenedetto?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Well, let's go to that one
He
then.
confirmed that he will not return to Levine Family Racing next season. Levine Family Racing has not confirmed who will replace Matt DiBenedetto next season. I like Matt DiBenedetto just because I like saying his name.
Can say
and I can kind of say it.
You can get it out now.
Yeah.
You're doing okay.
And he's a cool guy. Whenever they interview him,
he
he's
is.
like a total underdog.
Yeah.
But they say that they haven't confirmed who's going to replace him next season, but rumors are swirling that Christopher Bell will be moving up into the 95 car.
Well, and Levine has a real close alliance with Toyota and Joe Gibbs. So
maybe Haley Deegan will swap right up to a Cup
we'll
ride.
see.
Speaking of Haley Deegan, see the transition there?
Nice job.
She joined DGR Crosley for the race is probably over by now, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East Bush's Beans 150 at Bristol Motor Speedway that started at 6:15 Thursday. She usually runs the West Series,
Right,
and some ARCA races. So she was doing pretty good from what I saw. I don't know if anybody has any updates. Let me know on our Facebook Live comments here, if you would. And that's other than the small plane carrying Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his wife, Amy, that ran off the runway, caught fire at Elizabethton Municipal Airport in Tennessee this afternoon. No one was killed in the crash. Elizabethton Fire Chief Barry Carrier told reporters in Tennessee. And then I read something where they were transported to a hospital, though. But
right.
No word on condition or anything.
Probably to clean their underwear.
Well, I don't know. As a race car driver, you've been in crashes before. It's just a
but not in airplanes.
It wasn't in the air because, from what I read, it was taking off. So they just skidded off the runway. So it wasn't an up-down crash. It was just a horizontal crash.
I was talking about airplanes. There was a miracle in Moscow where the pilot set a plane down in a cornfield just yesterday. So, yep, it's a good day to walk away from a plane crash.
All right. How about we play How Many?
All right.
Last week was how many late models will be at Toledo on Saturday for the 60th anniversary?
Even dozen.
I thought it was 13. I had 13.
Okay. All right. You're probably right.
Is that a baker's dozen?
It would be.
Is it? I didn't know that. I was just guessing.
Good job.
The term.
Good job, Scott.
Woo! You won, by the way, because you picked 16, so you were the closest from last week. So here's this week's how many. This might be a little harder to verify the number, but how many fights are going to take place at Bristol during the Cup race on Saturday night?
Just the Cup race.
Just the Cup race Saturday night. That could be shouting, retaliation on the track.
Okay,
fisticuffs.
that was it. I didn't know if it was
Altercation. How's
I
that?
didn't know if it was just extracurricular activities or if it could be jamming somebody's quarter panel.
Jamming somebody's quarter panel.
And
extracurricular
they all
activities.
count.
They all count.
Ooh. Man, it could be in the hundreds, but I'm going to say 12.
Well, all right. It could be in the hundreds. And it's going to be hard to verify because, I mean, we're only going to see what TV covers as well. There could be a fight that they miss or some retaliation.
Nah, if there's a fight, they'll see it.
What do you got, Kathy? 5. I'm going to go with 4 because I'm thinking that there's been a lot of pissed off people recently. There was that late model incident where I guess the guys ended up in jail. Where was that at?
I saw it, but I can't tell you. I don't know.
I know it's on our Facebook page, but from what I read, the video just shows the guy after the car is on top of the other car,
punching like crazy,
like kicking.
And I gotta believe that the driver still in the car had his helmet on, so punching him was really stupid.
Yeah, well, he was kicking.
Yeah, well.
He had his foot in there, but the cops came and restrained. The video starts after the cars have already ended up stopped with the one car on top and the guy kicking
in kind of a weird position.
Yeah, it sounds like the one guy turned around on the track and then came at him head on, and since they're late models, they have the wedge nose and drove up on top. And I guess they both went to jail, or at least spent a little bit of time in jail. I'm not sure. Pretty crazy stuff. I read that story. I didn't want to go over it too much because there's just been so much negativity and fighting.
Yeah.
Why is everybody so mad? Everybody's got their panties in a bunch.
It's been a tough summer for lack of respect, Scott.
I know. But is this the whole have at it, boys mentality? Although
NASCAR trickling down to short tracks? Yeah, it could be.
Okay. Let's talk about some racing action coming up this weekend. We got a lot of it. Not the biggest weekend of racing, but there's enough to go around. Friday night, it's Lakeshore Utility Trailer Sales Night of Destruction. Tomorrow night, featuring school bus figure eights. I just read that they're going to have, I forget her name, but it's a female figure eight driver is going to be running one of the buses.
All right.
So that would be pretty cool. Late model sportsman and factory stock championships as well. Regular figure eights, boat figure eights, flagpole race. Lots going on during the Night of Destruction at Toledo Speedway. That's tomorrow night. Pits open at 4, gates at 5, racing at 7:30. General admission is $17. Also tomorrow night, Attica Raceway Park has Columbus Equipment / Central Ohio Farmers Night featuring the Attica Fremont Championship Series 410s, 305s, 1,000 to win for the 305 sprints, and Jamie Miller going for that championship in there. That's the second of 2 races, or the first of 2 races remaining in that series.
Well, since he was on our show, he's really kind of a shoe-in to win tomorrow.
Is, yeah. And that's the last one, the last AFCS race that'll be at Attica this year. Also at Attica tomorrow night will be the Attica Oakshade Late Model Challenge Series. That all starts at 7:45. That's when racing starts. Gates open at 5 o'clock at Attica. General admission $15. Saturday night, Oakshade Raceway will continue the Oakshade Attica Late Model Challenge Series with the finale for that. It's a 6-race series, and I had that in my article. It's a pretty close point battle.
It is.
I think it's Devin Shields was winning, and Dan Wallace was in there. There was like 4 or 5 all within 3 points.
I can tell you Steve Miller's in 10th.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Uh-huh. So it's a pretty tight battle going into the final 2 races this weekend in that series. Sportsman Bombers Compacts also in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission $14 at Oakshade on Saturday. At Sandusky on Saturday, it's Garner Sanitation Night. They're going to have Crate Sprints, Lake Erie stocks, Renegades, beginner stocks. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission is $10 at Sandusky. Flat Rock Speedway also in action with late models, figure eight, street stocks, bandoleros. Pits open at 3, gates at 4:30, and racing at 7 p.m. General admission $15 up there at the Level Pebble. And then Tuesday, Fremont Speedway has the Fremont Fence Fair Race featuring the 305 Sprints and vintage cars. Pits open at 3, gates at 5. Racing at 7:30, general admission just $7 too. So that's a pretty cool deal.
It's a cool deal, and they absolutely pack the place for that race. So if you're thinking of going to the fair at Fremont, be a good night to do it.
Again, that's coming up Tuesday night. Fremont not racing Saturday; they're racing Tuesday
because of the fair.
Yeah. And then looking ahead to next weekend, it's night number one or next Thursday, night number one of the Dirt Million presented by Arizona Sport Shirts, featuring the late models there at Mansfield Motor Speedway. So that's a pretty big show. Pits will open at 11 a.m. on Thursday. Spectator gates at 5. Racing at 7. General admission is $29 for Thursday night. So
and it probably goes up from there.
It probably, yeah. And we'll talk about Friday and Saturday's action next week on the Hammer Down Racing Report. How about we check out our weekend weather pit stop with Ryan Weekman? Sound like a good idea?
I think we need to do that.
Let's do that.
This is your weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman. Let's look at another weekend on the racing slate here. Starting off in Toledo and Attica, we'll be watching late Friday. Majority of the day looks just fine. Going to be a gorgeous summer day. Could have a chance for a late evening shower or thunderstorms. If it happens, it'll be coming in from the west. You'll have a pretty good idea that it's coming. Check out First Alert Doppler, but most likely we stay dry Friday. Saturday, we got races at Oakshade, Sandusky, Flat Rock. Again, most of the races should be fine, especially Flat Rock, as it'll be well north of any thunderstorms. A few pop-ups possible here in northern Ohio. Sandusky, we'll watch that one closely, and Oakshade as well. How about fair schedule still continuing? So down in Fremont, looking there next Tuesday. Looks pretty good at this point with some summertime heat and just an outside chance for a shower or downpour. This has been your weekend weather pit stop forecast. Be sure to download that free First Alert weather app. We'll keep you ahead of any of those summertime storms. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
And I was just scrolling through our Facebook comments, and I've noticed that a lot of people have started playing along with our how many.
I like that.
So we'll include that. So if you put a guess on how many fights are going to be at Bristol on Saturday night during the Cup race in the comments on our Facebook Live, and you do it before the actual race.
Right.
So if you're watching this in a rerun, you can still be part of it. I'll scroll back through the comments and see who got it. Although, if you guess the same number as somebody else, then I'm going to go for the person that guessed that number first. So choose
that sounds fair.
Sound fair? So you can play with us. It's the home version of the Hammer Down Racing Report. How many? I like it. It'll be available in stores.
All right.
It's about time to wrap this one up. Next week on the show, we're going to have Jim Hanks, president of Must See Sprints. They got a big show coming up next weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, they're going to be at Owasso up in Michigan. And then Sunday, they're going to be at Sandusky Speedway.
And it's my plan to attend that race at Sandusky Speedway. So Watch yourself, Chris.
Okay. So a big weekend there. We'll talk to them.
Have my suite ready.
And we're going to have the McCunes back in the studio.
Yes, we are.
Who do we got? Jimmy?
Jimmy and his dad.
Okay.
Driver and crew chief. Jimmy's leading the points.
I was going to say, I thought he was.
He's been pretty dominant lately. So yeah, and should be a good show.
So that'll be next week here on the Hammer Down Racing Report, starting at 7:00 Thursday night. Make sure to tune in. And that's about it. I got to thank Dave Kemmer again for helping out. Again, he does a good job of getting all the news stories together.
That's it.
Yeah.
And lining up our super guests.
Absolutely. Although I did all the work this week.
Proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Chris Mize, race director there at Sandusky Speedway, giving us the update in the Hammer Down Racing Report Dirty 30. Speaking of which, go to hammerdownracingreport.com, click on the Dirty 30 page that I have set up on there. That's where all the information is, the dirt late models, the dirt trucks, bombers, and the front wheel drives. Rules, payout, everything you need to know is on there. Also a link to the Sandusky page if you're planning on racing.
We've got a sign-up sheet there for racers, Scott. Yeah. Maybe we should have a sign-up sheet for fans just to gauge what the attendance might be. So if you're
sounds like a lot of work.
If you're thinking about going, maybe they need to be able to check in, Scott.
Well, I'll talk to the Sandusky folks, see if they'll set up another form for that then.
Fine.
But until then, if you're planning to race, or even if you're just thinking about it, go ahead and fill out that form. There's no obligation at all.
Right.
It just kind of gives us an idea of who's going to be there, and then we'll say your name. Oh, and somebody wanted me to say Mike Young's name. I'm not sure why.
Mike Young?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Mike Young.
John Young. Yeah.
Good luck this weekend.
All right, there's too many comments to keep up with right now. I'll scroll through them later. So yeah, that's it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report. Again, thanks to Ron Miller Race Cars for sponsoring the studio, the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, and fixing my car. The Ocho will be back in action this weekend, assuming I get to go work on it tonight.
Okay.
So if I can get it ready.
We did overcome one problem. You figured out how to start it.
Yeah, I figured out how to turn the power on. I have two master switches in there.
Yeah,
and one is a dummy.
Obviously, our driver picked the wrong one.
Does it rhyme with Gumby?
Yeah.
Okay. Good enough. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Hammer Down Racing Report.
Again,
I'm Scott Hammer. It's Ron Miller.
See you next week, folks.
We out.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.